Alright, what's up guys? So today I'm going to do a little review on my Dodge Charger. It's a Daytona RT. I know it's not a Scat Pack or a Hellcat, whatever. But it's been a year and a half since I bought this car, and honestly it's been amazing how reliable it's been. I did get it with 500 miles, and it's about to hit 60,000 on it. A lot of people say it's a lot of miles. Personally, I don't think it's a lot. And how much I drive, and since I live in the pretty much middle of nowhere, my closest like Walmart, it's 20 minutes away. But yeah, let's get into it, and I'll show you the ups and downs on the daily driving the Charger. All right, the number one thing people complain about or laugh about when they see these ugly brakes over here, small, cute little brakes, they're gonna say, "Oh, it's just a RT. It's not a Scat Pack or it's not a Hellcat." And thanks to this engine right here, the 5.7 liter Hemi, it's not one of the fastest engines. But one thing I will say, like, if you want something reliable and that's not gonna waste too much gas compared to the Hellcat, because I know the Scat Pack doesn't waste much more gas than this. But apart from that, this car sounds pretty good, especially when you remove the mid mufflers and the mufflers. And since this car is a Daytona, it came with the Mopar cold air intake. As you can see, it has a little M right there. At first, I didn't have anything special, but when you do rev it, you can hear the engine breathe more, or the throttle opening, and it sounds pretty nice. I'll show you how the cold air intake sounds. It's nothing special, but it does add a little more like excitement when you rev the car or when you're stepping on it. You can't hear it much in the interior as the outside, but it sounds pretty nice. Apart from this car being a Daytona, also it is part of the last call Chargers and Challengers. It has nothing special. At first I thought it was only for the V8 models, but also the XXTs, the V6s have it, and also the GTs. It doesn't really add anything special to it. Apart from the Daytona, that's a separate thing from itself. There's nothing else that says it's the last call. But personally, I do like it, and a lot of people have told me, "Oh, it's a last call," which is pretty nice. All right, since this is a Daytona, on the back it's gonna have the banner going from left to right saying Daytona on it, and on the back it only says Charger. It didn't come with the RT badge or anything. It might be because of the package, but I'm not too sure of it. One thing would be on the insides that are different is gonna be the seats. It came with the Napa and suede seats. They feel pretty good for what they are. I'm glad it's not full leather, because I live in the desert and it's horrible out here. It does come with cooled and heated seats, but you can get those without the Daytona package. One more thing, it's gonna be the Daytona stitched on the middle of the seats, which it looks pretty nice. Also, for the dash and the center console, you're gonna have this almost gunmetal scratched painted center consoles, which they're pretty nice, along with the Daytona over here, the Hemi on the hood right here, along with the little Daytona badge on the front. But apart from that, it doesn't change anything else with the Daytona. Going back to the engine here real quick, this 5.7, I don't know about the 6.2. I know the Hellcat is a little bit more complicated, but the 5.7 is a very easy engine to work on, especially if you need to replace like the spark plugs, the air filter, or any accessory pulleys along with the alternator. Pretty simple to reach, especially the oil changes are pretty easy, as long as you have ramps or a jack to lift the car up. Alright, so I know the first thing you guys probably saw were the Christmas lights on the tree, this and that. A lot of people are going to say, "Oh, you're going to scratch your paint, or the residue is going to mess up your paint." No. I've been doing this for almost 3 years, and so far my paint hasn't been scratched. The last year, no, 2 years ago, I did it with my truck, and I didn't scratch that. Last year, this car didn't get scratched, and honestly, it's the tape you use matters a lot, and the way you stretch these lights out. Because in this case, I have a lot of tape, and they're not able to move a lot, which means no movement, no scratches. I just wanted to point that out because I don't want people to like roast me in the comments. And also with this, I know it seems like a very big scratch area, but for the ring, what I did is just put like a lot of tape on the back, and that way the crown can't scratch the paint. Also, one thing that I did want to point out, um, the first few months that I got this car, I drove it very harshly, as in taking turns very fast, braking hard, and all that, and that did cause my tires to wear down like a lot. So I had to replace all four tires with brand new ones. Um, the old tires only lasted about 53,000 miles on them. These so far have been good, but they don't have a lot of miles, to be honest. The biggest problems were the rears. Since these cars do not have adjustments, camber adjustments for the rears, they will eat the inside of the tires. A lot of people say they don't, but it's just been my experience so far with the tires in general. I have been driving the car a little bit less like a lunatic, and the tires haven't worn down a lot or at all. But I'll see within this year if the tires wore down again or not. In that case, I will get the adjustable cameras and all that, but only time will tell. Since I'm talking about the tires here, I just want to point out that the suspension on these cars, they feel amazing for what they are. I know that the Scat Packs have stiffer suspension, but that's because they're lower than these. I don't know if this car is lower than the XSTs or the GT model, but it feels pretty nice. I've taken this car on very long drives, and honestly, it just floats on the freeway, and I've had people fall asleep inside the car. And a few things I have added to the outside to just make the car like look better. Since it's a green with like black stripes on it with the Daytona badge on the back, I decided to just go green and black, and my Instagram logos are gonna be like goldish, but it's worn down, to be honest, so it's not as gold anymore. But I did replace the lower valance with a more aggressive one. Also with the rear spoiler, I added the wicker bill. I don't remember what specific it is, but it was a pretty nice and easy install for that one. Along with the taillights, I used to have like the pattern of taillights, so I'll put a picture right here. But I recently just blacked out the lights here, the signals and the reverse lights. Honestly, it didn't affect the reverse lights a lot, and also you can still see the directionals or brakes pretty good. So I haven't gone to pull over because of that or anything. One thing I did change that it might not be like legal in some states, but in New Mexico they don't really care. I changed the little parking lights right there. I think that's what they're called. When you turn them on and off, they do like a little pattern or dance, if you would say. Also, apart from that, I did add the Scat Pack little snorkels. They do turn amber when you use the turn signal or lock the car, and they go back to white. Also, I did the lower splitter. Honestly, without the splitter, these cars look very weird to me. So honestly, I just put it on and it just looks so much aggressive. That being said, this is like the fourth splitter that I've had on this car in a year and a half. It's just saying that, I don't know, it's my first car, and for some reason they just easily break. They're very fragile. They aren't cheap Amazon ones, so I imagine if I get like better ones, they won't break as easily. But so far, this one has been good and all. The only downfall is that I didn't put it on fully, and I get like little rocks stuck between the front bumper and the splitter here. And apart from that, since I'm like a big person, the seats on the driver's side, it started to rip here. I don't drag myself out, so I don't know why it ripped. Also, the center console, apparently that's something common on the Chargers or in Challengers. They rip easily. And also, another devastating thing was that randomly my windshield like decided to crack. One night I just parked it and it broke. Apparently, I looked into it, and it's something that just happens with some Chargers for some reason. They break. No, the glass didn't get hit by anything. It just cracked like that overnight. And apart from the glass, I have had no issues with the interior, no rattles or anything. As you've seen, like in my last video, I did put the ambient lighting. I'll show you how it looks at night now. I did have to remove the middle one because I broke the driver's side, so I had to switch out the middle one to the driver's side. One thing people complain a lot about these cars, it's the sound system. This is supposed to be like the premium sound system for these cars, the Alpine. Unfortunately, when I got the car, I didn't notice it only had the 6-speaker system, so that means it's only the 2 on the front, my 2 doors, and the 2 on the rear deck lid. For me, the voice, the higher mids are pretty well, but I like having more bass in my system. So what I ended up having to do is adding 212s, 2 JL audios. Adding subs in the back, it makes the sound system a lot better. One thing a lot of people complain about is how Dodge has these cars for the front door speakers to only play bass instead of highs and mids, but it's not bad. You get like a little extra bass from the doors, but if you want to show off and show people how loud the car is, you really can, because the doors don't help at all. Alright, so this is like the interior of the Charger at night. It looks pretty nice by itself, without any ambient lighting or anything. As you can see, there's foot lighting, all that. It's pretty nice, to be honest. Down here, and even like a little light up here. It's pretty nice. But since in my old truck I used to have like lights all over the place, and I always wanted to have star lights, so I decided to go and put them on, and they look amazing. I'll show you right here how they look. Alright, so this is the Charger with the ambient lighting on the doors, the footwells, and the star lights. So personally, I installed my foot lighting along with the doors and all that. I did take it to somebody else to do the star lights because I don't have a garage to do it, and it's dusty where I live. To be honest, I like it because it makes it more like homey inside of here, and I spend a lot of time driving at night. So yeah, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.